thing came crashing down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And she, when you're doing well, everybody around, everybody,
Right. Everybody's your friend.
with you, everybody with you. When you're doing good,
Yeah.
and there was other women around, and when everything started going bad, she was the one, bro.
Mm.
She stuck around through that time.
Mm.
I just met her, but she has a big heart, and so she took care of me in those times, and stuck with me, when I ain't had shit, really, but she saw what the potential was. She knew who I was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, like, with that being said, I still was chasing my dreams with her when we ain't had shit.
Right.
We went all the way to Atlanta when they called us.
Right.
And we didn't have nothing, dude.
Nothing.
We didn't have nothing, bro.
Just enough for what? McDonald's? Chick-fil-A?
McDonald's and gas.
Yeah.
Just for them to tell us that we just didn't have enough.
Right.
Well, maybe we wasn't willing to do what they was asking.
But she was going to be right there by your side.
That was it.
Even though she threw my food away.
She did do that.
And I was very hungry.
You was very hungry.
She made sure you ate.
All right now. We ain't gotta get into that now. You made sure I was good, though. Yeah. Yeah, she said she was like, oh, you remember I was beefing with Justin. Yeah, we were cool.
I remember that. Cool. Because she came. This was the homie spot. This was the trap.
Yeah,
she came in with that attitude like, no, he is mine now. Enough for all of these childish games y'all playing. We wasn't trying to hear that. We playing video games. We smoking weed. We catching our little caps and all that. She's like, no, I see a husband in him. Yeah. So I salute the station, man.
Yeah, she's all right. Yeah.
Salute the station.
Big shout out to that.
So yeah, so that trying time, that downtime, man. When did you know that she was the one?
After the accident.
Mm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so chasing that music dream, doing everything, being on the road. Me, Taylor, and Logan, riding out after that show that night. Came down I-26, blew that tire, lost control, flipped 6 times, ejected him, killed Logan, ejected Taylor. That probably was one of those moments in my life where, I was actually in a situation where I was really not in control.
Mm.
And one experience that people don't really probably know too much about is like being in a situation where whatever's going to happen to you is going to happen to you.
Mm.
That was scary because, obviously we was in my car, but I was in the back seat. And like, when that car lifted up in the air,
mm-hmm.
that was a different feeling for me because I was conscious through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, flipping 6 times and just landing upright when I was the one that was under the influence. I was the one in my car in the back seat, and both of them were ejected. It was just, and then for the car to land on all fours, it was just a really like eye-opening situation to me. It was like God telling me like, I can take your life this fast.
Mm.
And I can give you life just as fast.
So you were the only one that had your seatbelt on?
The only one with my seatbelt on. The one who was drunk. The one who left the venue in the passenger seat.
Mm.
We switched somewhere at a rest stop.
Mm.
Mm. It was just one of those scenarios where, to this day, I don't really understand why things went the way that it did that night. But, I can only say that it was because there was something bigger for me to do.
Mm.
which brings me to the cup.
Let's talk about that. So, looking back in hindsight and realizing that all of you could have lost your life, but your best friend lost his, another close friend nearly lost his. And was that like another turning point that just kicked your hustle into overdrive to like bring you to this place to where you're at right now? Or was it still a gradual process? Was there still trials and tribulations, or, you know what I mean? Did you still dibble and dabble back into the streets, or did you immediately change your life after that?
I think it just actually just broke me down for a little while. Because at the time, I just really I didn't understand how I survived. I just thought I was supposed to be dead. And then for a little while, then I started just thinking like, maybe my best friend died for me, man. Especially just prior to that accident, he just told me, and just right prior to the accident, he told me that he loved me. He's like, Kevin, man, I love you, man. I would die for you. He said that to me, And when he said it to me, it's like in my heart, it's like, I told him I love him back. But I don't know if I was going to die for him. You know what I'm saying? But
he wasn't that loyal.
He was loyal like that.
Loyal to a fault almost.
Loyal to the
stand front line for a lot of people.
Which there's a lot of stories there that we'll get into.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of those kind of situations. And so
you're at your lowest.
Yeah. Pretty much.
School didn't work out. The dope game, it's like you're just in and out. You catch a real charge now. You're at the bottom. You have your wife there. Best friend's gone. It's like, now what?
I mean, well, she wasn't my wife yet.
Well, yeah, now
she
what?
Wasn't even my girlfriend yet.
She wasn't even your girlfriend at the time.
She gave me an ultimatum.
Ooh.
After all of that.
Ooh.
After being with me through all of that, she was like, hey, you ain't gonna play games with me no more.
Right.
You gonna be with me, or you won't, because I'm not gonna wait for you, When she gave me that ultimatum about 6 months later after that accident, she gave me my time, she gave me my space, but it was time, So I made the commitment, you know what I mean? I've always been that type of dude. I've always been the type of dude that was committed to one woman, Now, I did what I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skirt.
You know what I mean? Skirt. But, I typically love one woman. That was that's how my dad was. So that's a trait that I picked up from my dad. You know what I mean?
Great man.
Yeah. So, I go through all that stuff. I decided to make my wife now, my girlfriend at the time. We start building, I'm working a dead-end job, but she sticks with me. We spend time together. We sleep in the car together. We sleep at friends' house when we can, just so we can spend time together, that kind of thing. But I knew that I got to do something better, jumping in and out the dope game during the drought. It was 2000, it's 2010. So it was like right after the recession, kind of, because it was in 2008 was a recession. And I got locked up at that time, like 2008. And so, 2007 at the very end. So going into 2008, I was locked up. So it was like, recession at the time, we're trying to get, money's not that plentiful. So the dope game is not as great as it was. So I can sell something every here and here to make ends meet. And a whole bunch of people know this. There's a lot of drug dealers who aren't really drug dealers. They sell drugs to make ends meet. There's a difference.
Right.
People who deal drugs, they deal them in large quantities and they make a lot of money doing it. People who just sell drugs, they sell drugs to make ends meet. So there's two differences. There's a difference between the two.
Right.
So I used to be a drug dealer, and then I became a person who sells drugs to make ends meet, is what that is. So I did that until I finally got the opportunity to work at iCore for DirecTV. First company to hire me with the charges on my record.
Shout out to iCore.
I'm like, shout out to iCore. Shout out to iCore. If there's an iCore near you, apply.
Yeah.
If you have a record, but you want to get yourself back on the right path, want to find a place to work, it might not be something you want to do, but guess what? A good friend once told me one time, in order to be successful in life, you got to do things that you don't want to do.
Right.
And at that time, I was willing to do that. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So I went to iCore. They said they would hire me. It's January 2011. Me and Seisha's been together now for about a year. And, they offered me a position, so I started with them. Worked all the overtime, got our taxes back, moved out of my dad's house after being there for a year. So I'm like, I'm back. I'm back out here, But I'm back out here with a woman now. You know what I'm saying? And so, I worked. I put the work in, it was great. I had a great experience with iCore. Found a temp job with Bear. It was paying more money, so I decided to go with that route, But I worked every day. It was a temp job, so, they ain't gonna check your background too much and care too much about that. So they allowed me to get that. It was paying more money. I can get more overtime, another level up in our life. So I took that opportunity, worked hard. I worked every day for 180 days in a row. I worked every day for 180 days in a row. And they didn't hire me permanently.
Wow.
They hired everybody else but me. And so, I did that, had my first kid, saved up a little bit of money, rented my first house. And then I got the job at Alcoa, which was a big difference, where I got paid, way more money, got more overtime, saw myself gradually moving in a different direction in life, was able to purchase a house, I'm living an American dream right now as a convicted felon. And I'm like, man, you know what? This is like heaven on earth. Right. Because from where I came from, now being married, now having 2 kids, working a great job, I'm renting a house, and possibly working my way towards being able to own one day. So I got there. Did that. We purchased our first home. And then I got fired.
From Alcoa?
From Alcoa.
Man.
Best job that I could ever did. Man, accident happened. I still was smoking weed at the time, which I didn't admit to my wife. And, so I hope she don't watch this video. And, which that's not fine. And, so I lost my job because I refused to take a piss test. That's the truth. I lied to everyone at the time. Yeah. So took a drink to that. And so I did that and lost the job, and I just didn't know what I was going to do now because I worked so hard to get to that point, so hard to get to